Good morning. Wow. I slept like a rock. It is daylight. It is 8 o'clock. I usually get up. I wake up sometimes between 3 and 5. Oh, what a great night's sleep. Well, the sun is just peeking over the mountain on this side. There's not much in the valley down below, but you can see on the far side, it's beginning to touch the tops of the trees. Down here, it got to 32.6 degrees last night. The success of any fire depends directly on how much time you spend preparing properly for it. Take a shortcut and you'll probably end up with failure. As you can see from my pronounced limp here, my IT band is still giving me much in the way of pain this morning. So once again, the main key here is simply preparation. Now, I have some nice pieces of tulip poplar here. And tulip poplar has a really shaggy kind of bark that you can actually process and use for tinder because it pulls apart really easily. But it's also a good sustaining fuel to kind of get things going here. Don't want to smother too much. You got to keep that airflow going. Give your flames time to conquer what lies beneath before you add more. Whoops. Like that one kind of blocked off the airflow there. Essentially, this kind of starts out as a teepee. It will collapse in on itself, and then I'll start feeding some of this other fuel food in. Knock outdoors. Hydroblue VersaFlow filter, love it. And that's what I'm using to gravity fill my bottle. Don't have to do anything, I can go tend to my fire. To take advantage of the flame heat, not just coals, I have rigged this little stick. I just cut a little notch in the top of the stick to hold the bail of the pot. And yeah, get some water boiling here. This Kapilka cup is one of my luxury items when I backpack. I cut the handle off, it was a lot longer, added the lanyard that you see there, but I absolutely love it. As you can see in the background, the water is boiling, so it is time for coffee number 1 this morning. That's what I'm going to do. All right, friends, breakfast is nothing fancy, but nothing too bad. I have a little ciabatta there. I think that's what you call those, that roll. I'm going to toast it up over the fire. I'm going to cook up some country ham. It'll last for tomorrow's breakfast as well. And I'm going to do some bacon bits. I have some fresh cheese in there to kick it up a notch. And the last pack is just some Starbucks powdered instant coffee. But It does have microgrounds in it, which makes it a little bit better than regular, as if you've tried the Starbucks instant coffee mixes. And what I like about this is it came in a 35 serving can that I bought at Walmart. So it's a lot cheaper than buying those individual tubes that you can buy, the little, rip the top open and you have your coffee thing there. You just have to do some packaging on your own beforehand. All right, I got my instant grits with a healthy dose of bacon bits there. I'm going to add cheese once I add the hot water. Over here I have all of my country ham for my first course anyway done. And I am toasting my ciabatta and reheating my water for my grits. Ooh, very toasty. Well, there's my country ham ciabatta. And there is a classic southern confection known as cheese grits with some extra sharp cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and grits, which are a form of corn. If you're not from the South, you probably don't know about this, but they're heavenly. It's an acquired taste, I'm told, but I acquired it. I almost forgot a key ingredient, a little bit of hot sauce. It was an amazing breakfast. That country ham ciabatta biscuit was, if you want to call it that, basically the concept. It was delicious, the sandwich. Cheese grits with bacon and real cheddar kicked up a notch when I added the Tabasco hot sauce to it, and that was good. I have boiled water, washed all my dishes, enjoying a second cup of coffee here. Lazy morning in camp. It is now about 10:20 or so. My IT band started killing me when I peaked, I guess it was Cedar Rock Mountain, and I was trying to come down that long gradient, but a long gradient down to the creek bottom and to try to intersect with this particular trail, the Camp 3 trail that I'm on. And I knew at that point, when I first started down the very path in the parking lot, I tweaked my knee just a moment, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Started moving. I felt good. My pace was good for most of the day, I think, yesterday. But Cedar Rock Mountain had these 5 to 6 inches of leaf litter just on top of it. It was a hardwood forest. It was on the crest of that, and going across the top of that, my feet just kept, you couldn't feel, or you couldn't tell what the ground was underneath. And it was very twisty, and I think it kind of twisted my left knee. And my IT band really started hurting to the point that it was kind of touch and go. It took me a long time to get down from that and to find the Camp 3 trail. But even once I found the Camp 3 trail, almost immediately I had to sit down and then really just take it slow coming into camp yesterday. So my original plan was to get up early this morning, pack up, take off, and move on to a second camp. But I think you have to listen to your body. And so what I'm going to do today is take a lazy day in camp. I'll take some ibuprofen tonight before I go to bed. If I have another night as good as the last one I had, then, I'm optimistic that I might be able to take it easy and, still knock off some of my destinations for this particular hike. It's kind of front-loaded in a way. I mean, going to those 2 gold mine areas that I ended up going to yesterday, that was part of it, but I discovered that house, and that was just like going up to a connecting road, and I was like, well, there's a road here. What's on this road? So I really feel like I've had a pretty epic trip so far in terms of discoveries of things I didn't know were there, creek crossing, all sorts of stuff like that. And Cedar Rock, with the actual rock slab, really pretty vista up there. I hadn't ever been there before. So I'm feeling fortunate. And I guess that's making me content enough to take a 0 day, basically, a day in camp to rest. I'll process some firewood. We'll have a nice fire tonight. I'll have a nice dinner tonight. Yeah, you just got to listen to your body. And I know that if I tried to push it today, it would be virtually unbearable to try to get back to the car because my destinations are farther away from my car. So I'm thinking if I rest and try to give my injury time to recover today, that I might be able to do some of that tomorrow. And maybe the thing to do is to get up really early, leave my camp here, and just carry a water bottle and do it that way. Since it's mostly exploring, I don't have to have a pack on my back to do it. Had a fair amount of weight yesterday too, and so that uneven terrain with the pack and my chest pack and a waist bag pack as well, all of those things probably contributed to the strain. All right, I'm going to enjoy my coffee and a day in camp. I'll let you know what happens. Look at how clear that is. I'd be comfortable drinking it straight out here because this is where it comes out of the earth. No animal's going to crawl up in there to do its business. I mean, it's just crystal clear. I am high on the ridge above my camp, on the same trail. But if you look down below, there's my tent. The spring is somewhere down here below me, coming out of the side of the mountain. And what's interesting is this slope that you can see from up here that goes up behind my camp to some kind of ridge line. Beautiful location. Let me give you an afternoon check-in. It is about 4:30 in the afternoon. I have not done very much at all today. I did follow the Camp 3 trail up this ridge here and sat up there for a while. Got a cell signal so I could see what the forecast was. I came back down, went up around here up to a saddle. There's a knoll up there to the right, but there's a saddle up on top, and I found a perfectly level campsite with a fire ring up there. It's unbelievable how every place among all these 5,160 wilderness acres has been explored, and you'll find traces of people all over the place. Some of these campsites are, probably, going on 60 years old, if not older. I'm sure some of these, quite frankly, were indigenous peoples 12,000 years ago along these same valleys and creeks. Probably looked a little different, but we know that there was a lot of indigenous activity in these parts. The rhyolite stone was ideal for making points, for making arrows and knives, things like that. So also found a little piece of mosquito netting that caught my eye, and it's been torn and shredded, and somebody discarded it. It has a zipper on it. No idea what it's from, but I'll pack that out so it's not sitting out here not decomposing. Really kind of makes me sick sometimes how people treat wilderness areas. I generally try to leave them better than I found them if I can haul out some trash. I can't always, obviously. I pointed out some tarps and stuff to you on the way to this site yesterday. But a quick update, my IT band is feeling a lot better. I can pick up my knee, which I could not do yesterday. I walked around stiff-legged for quite some time today. I lay down, took a nap in the sun for a while, and all of that being off of my leg and relaxing really seems to have helped it. So I feel fairly confident that tomorrow I might be able to pack up in the morning, maybe take advantage of the early cool in the morning, because it's 70 something right now. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'll check my thermometer. It feels hot in the sun, and that's it's too early for that, mid-March, you know. I have kept my little fire smoldering. There are hot coals underneath that log. It's a trick you can use if you want to do that. You can put a burnt end of wood from a fire pit over your coals, and they'll smolder for a long time. Periodically, I'll just grab a stick as I walk around and throw it on there to light it back up. You'll notice that I've built the walls higher around the fire pit, just to protect my cooking area there from any wind, because the wind came up last night and it may come up again tonight. All right, well, that's about it. I'll catch up with you when I have something to report, but today I don't think I'll have a whole lot to report. It's a pretty mild day. Hey friends, I'm back in camp. It's a really interesting experience I just had. I was, by now know this going up the ridge here thing. The spring is back over down that way. And as you descend into that spring stream bed, the temperature, I swear, drops 10 degrees. Just in that microclimate area, where the sun, I guess, never spends much time getting down in there because it has ridges on both sides. And then the moment you start walking out on the other side and go up the hill, you're back into the ambient temperature that's around here. It is, by the way, in the upper 50s. I'm contemplating getting a fire going. I'm sure I still have some coals, but I haven't put anything on recently. And yeah, it was a laid-back day. I took a nap, which I needed to do, and just tried to stay off of my knee. It's beginning to, well, I can feel it a little bit. I did go up 2 hills today. It's really hard just to stay off of it completely, although I did do that for the majority of the day. All right, let's see if I can coax this fire back to life. Highly recommend the pocket bellows. This fire is pretty epic, pretty fast, and that's because this wood is so dry. It's just really, it's got a lot of oxygen. It's got a hotbed of coals below, so it drafts the flames up. And yeah, it's going great. Well protected on those 3 sides by the stones I put up, as you can see here. Alright, this contraption that I have my pot around is called a Burtonsville Rig. But that fire just shut up, so I'm going to pull it off for a second. Give that fire some time to settle. Beautiful fire though. So the genius of the Burtonsville Rig is that you have these different places, and you can raise and lower the stick to get the pot closer or farther from the flames. And the stick can also be placed up higher. So if I carve this stick, I don't need all 4 notches. Probably just need the bottom 2. But at the same time, I could, if I had a, something else that I longer pole, bigger fire, whatever the case may be. But I like to keep my fires efficient, just big enough to do the job.